Hey, I'm getting ready to read Chapter 6. Frankie came for Joe at first light. Joe was dreaming about Damon being swallowed up by a giant squid when the zombie dog dived on top of him. Get up, Joe! What? Ah, yuck! Joe tried to wiggle away as a big dollop of drool dribbled out of Frankie's mouth and on his face. Get up, barked Frankie again, his scratchy tongue licking Joe's hair. It's Saturday. The robbers could come any time. Go away, Joe hissed. It's too early. He glanced over at Toby, who was still sleeping peacefully. Thank goodness he was a heavy sleeper. Get up! Frankie grabbed Joe's dovet in his teeth and hauled it off the bed. I need you. Hey, Joe wrestled the covers out of Frankie's mouth and pulled them back over his head. Later. Joe poked his nose under the edge of the dovet. Then he scrambled up under the covers, grabbed Joe's pajamas with shorts with his teeth, and tried to yank him out of bed. Off! Joe held on to his shorts. But so did Frankie. Joe pulled and pulled, and then, ping! Frankie let go and an elastic snapped back. The dog fell out of the bed, and everything went quiet. Suspiciously quiet. Joe peeked out from under his covers. Frankie was sitting in the corner of the room chewing something. Joe shot out of bed. My new shoes! He grabbed one out of Frankie's mouth. Urgh! The laces were slimy and dripping with zombie's drool. Frankie gave a growl. Come and help me or I'll pee on the other one. Joe sighed. Okay, I'm coming. He rubbed the sleep out of his eyes, put on his jeans, and headed for the front door. He glanced back. Toby was still fast asleep and snoring. Ding dong! Ding dong! The clock in the dining room was chiming 6 o'clock. Joe put his fingers in his ears. Does that clock ever stop chiming? That's Sylvia's favorite clock, said Frankie huffily. It's very special. It belonged to her great-grandmother. Joe rolled his eyes. I always knew it was time for tea, added Frankie, or for walks, or go to bed. I love that clock. Okay, I get it. Joe yawned. They were crouching in the lobby behind a giant potted palm, keeping watch over Miss Stanway's office. So far, the only person they'd seen was the milkman pulling up outside the hotel and dropping off a crate of milk. Joe stretched out his legs. They were stiff from sitting so long. Then his tummy rumbled. I wonder when it's breakfast time, he whispered. Listen, Frankie yelped. Someone's coming. The revolving doors were moving. Joe gulped. There he is, yelped Frankie as a tall figure emerged. Frankie leaped forward, barking and growling. Joe sprang out of their hiding place. He wasn't sure what to do, block the robber's way, or shout for help. But then he looked at the thief. Uncle Lynn? Morning, Joe. You're up early. Uncle Lynn was wearing a bright red tracksuit, and his face was hot and sweaty. I've just been out for a morning run. Did I tell you I'm training for a marathon? Frankie's tail drooped. Oops. And that looks like the ancient Egyptian omelet from Joe's uncle. Do you want another slice of toast? Joe added. Dad? It was a couple hours later, and everyone was in the dining room eating breakfast. Joe's family were sitting with Damon and his mom and dad. Frankie was sitting still in the lobby, keeping watch. Dong! The noisy clock on the dining room mantelpiece chimed. Uncle Lynn glanced up from his paper. Nice clock, he murmured. Then he turned to dial. Dad, did I tell you I collect antiques? Dad smiled politely. I've been collecting for years. You'd be surprised what you can pick up at sales. He tapped his nose. You just need to know what you're looking for. Take that clock over there. It's an amazing piece. Mom, can you redo my nails before the wedding? Interrupted Sarah, peering at her hands. One of them's chipped. I'll do them, said Auntie Kate. Your mom's going to be too busy. Mom nodded. When Great Aunt Marion heard I was doing Gran's hair, she asked me to do hers too. And then Auntie Sheila and Kath, even Uncle Bob wondered if I could give him in for a trim. I wish you could do something with Lynn's hair, grinned Auntie Kate. He looks like a Yeti. Toby giggled. Uncle Lynn looked up crossly. What's wrong with my hair? Just then a waitress appeared and put another jug of juice on the table. "You'll be busy today," said Mom to the waitress, trying to divert Lynn and Kate from an argument. "With the wedding and everything." "Oh, it won't be too bad," said the waitress. "Mrs. Stanway hires lots of extra help to cover weddings, so there'll be plenty of help." She smiled and moved on to the next table. "Is Uncle Charlie coming to the wedding?" asked Aunt Kate. Joe looked up. It was Uncle Charlie, who had given him the magical Egyptian amulet that had brought all the undead pets to his door. "Megan invited him," said Mom, "but she didn't get a reply. He's probably up a mountain somewhere. I haven't heard from him for months." Joe hadn't either. When the zombie creatures had first begun to arrive, Joe had tried to get in touch with his uncle to tell him what was happening, but he only received one postcard. That wasn't unusual. Uncle Charlie was an explorer, and he was usually out of contact for months at a time. Damon burped and pushed his plate away. "Ready to lose at crazy golf?" And that's the end of chapter 6. I hope you enjoyed.